Third person's POV flashback in the heart of Ashenwood Town. Nestled amidst towering trees and winding paths, Gavin Zoran, the spirited son of the Alpha, navigated his childhood days with a curious blend of duty and defiance. As the heir apparent to the pack, his future seemed predestined, a path laid out in accordance with tradition and expectation. Yet, fate had a way of weaving unexpected threads into the tapestry of his life. One crisp autumn afternoon, driven by youthful curiosity and restlessness that belied his station, Gavin ventured beyond the familiar confines of his pack's territory. It was on one of these exploratory excursions that he first laid eyes upon her Laurie, a girl whose presence seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light amidst the mundane backdrop of Ashenwood Town. She was surrounded by a group of rowdy wolf children, their playful banter taking a cruel turn as they cornered her near the edge of the forest. Gavin, drawn inexplicably to her vulnerability and resilience, intervened without a second thought. "Hey, leave her alone." Gavin's voice rang out, cutting through the air with a commanding tone that startled even himself. The bullies hesitated, momentarily taken aback by the unexpected interruption. Laurie, her hands and knees bruised from the rough tumble, looked up at Gavin with a mixture of relief and curiosity. "Thank you," she murmured softly, her eyes holding a blend of gratitude and wariness. Gavin nodded curtly in response, his gaze lingering on her for a fleeting moment longer than necessary. There was something about her, something that ignited a spark of protectiveness within him, a desire to shield her from the harsh realities of their world. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as Gavin found himself crossing paths with Laurie more frequently. Their encounters became a regular occurrence, each meeting revealing new facets of her spirited personality that captivated him. Under the sprawling branches of the ancient oak tree, they would often meet after school, sharing stories and dreams beneath the dappled sunlight that filtered through the leaves above. "What's your favorite place in Ashenwood Town?" Laurie asked one afternoon, a mischievous twinkle in her eyes. Gavin considered her question thoughtfully, his mind wandering to the hidden groves and secret paths he had discovered during his explorations. "There's a clearing near the river," he finally replied, his voice tinged with a hint of excitement. "It's quiet and secluded, a place where I go to think." Laurie smiled warmly, her gaze softening as she studied him with newfound curiosity. "I'd like to see it sometime," she admitted shyly, her fingers tracing patterns on the soft earth beneath them. As the seasons changed and they grew older, their bond deepened into a steadfast companionship that defied the boundaries imposed by their respective positions within the pack hierarchy. They explored the hidden corners of Ashenwood Town together, sharing secrets and dreams beneath the starlit skies that framed their world. Their friendship became a source of solace and strength amidst the tumultuous currents of adolescence. Gavin, harboring feelings that had blossomed quietly over the years, found himself drawn to Laurie in ways he couldn't fully comprehend. It was during their time at the exclusive academy for wolves that their lives took an unexpected turn. Amidst the corridors bustling with students and the whispered rumors of impending alliances, they encountered Ron, a charismatic figure destined to lead the Golden Moon Pack. Gavin observed Laura's growing infatuation with Ron from a distance, silently grappling with his own burgeoning feelings. "Do you think Ron will like me?" Laurie asked one evening, her eyes alight with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Gavin forced a smile, masking the turmoil raging beneath the surface. "Maybe," he replied softly, his voice betraying none of the ache that threatened to consume him. As months passed and their graduation approached, Gavin dared to hope that Laura's feelings for Ron were fleeting, a passing fancy that would fade with time. But fate had other plans. On the eve of her 18th birthday, Laura's announcement shattered Gavin's fragile illusions. "Alpha Ron is my mate," she declared, her words echoing in the quiet stillness of the night. The world seemed to tilt on its axis, leaving Gavin reeling in disbelief and heartache. He struggled to reconcile the overwhelming sense of loss with the fierce determination to support Laurie, no matter the personal cost. "I'm going with her," Gavin asserted defiantly to his father and the elders, their disapproving glares and heated objections falling on deaf ears. "I need to be where she is." Despite the anger and disappointment that clouded their parting, Gavin knew deep down that he was making the right choice. He followed Laurie to the Golden Moon Pack, leaving behind the familiar comforts of Ashenwood Town and the expectations of his upbringing. Becoming the beta of the Golden Moon Pack offered Gavin a new purpose, a chance to protect Laurie from the shadows, to safeguard her happiness even as his own heart remained tethered to her. End of flashback. In the present day, Beta Gavin Zoran paced restlessly along the perimeter of the Golden Moon Pack's territory, his thoughts consumed by memories of a time long past. He had watched helplessly as Laura's once vibrant spirit gradually dimmed under the weight of unfulfilled expectations and silent suffering. "If only I could decide for her," Gavin muttered to himself, his voice carrying a note of frustration and regret. "If only I could protect her from the choices that bind her." But Gavin had made a solemn promise promise a vow etched in the depths of his soul. When the moment came, when Laurie faced danger or despair, he would trade everything to ensure her safety and well-being. As twilight descended over the land, casting long shadows across the rolling hills, Gavin's resolve hardened. He would wait, vigilant and ready, for the opportunity to fulfill the oath he had sworn to be the unwavering guardian and protector of the woman he had loved since childhood. In the quiet solitude of the night, beneath the watchful gaze of the moon, Gavin Zoran stood sentinel, his heart aching with a love that had endured across time and distance. Third person's POV flashback. In the early days of their youth, Ron and Tracy found solace in the quiet corners of Bellflower, where the world seemed to slow down and their friendship blossomed, like the wildflowers around them. One afternoon, they escaped to a secluded meadow where rare bluebells swayed in the breeze. Tressa's eyes lit up with delight as she stumbled upon the patch of bluebells, her laughter ringing out like music in Ron's ears. He couldn't resist the urge to see her smile, so he gathered a bouquet of the delicate blooms, his heart pounding with nervous excitement. "For you," he murmured, presenting the flowers to her with a shy smile. Tressa's face lit up with joy as she accepted the bouquet, her fingers brushing against his in a fleeting touch that sent a thrill through Ron's veins. "Oh, Ron, they're beautiful," she exclaimed, her voice filled with genuine appreciation. She twirled amidst the blossoms, her laughter echoing through the quiet meadow, and Ron couldn't help but join in, caught up in the magic of the moment. As they sat together in the shade of an old oak tree, Tracy turned to Ron with a soft smile. "Thank you," she whispered, her eyes shimmering with unspoken affection. She reached out, placing her hand over his, their fingers entwining, in a silent promise of friendship and deeper connection. Years later, their idyllic world shattered when Tracy received the fateful news she had a mate from another pack, and their bond was undeniable. Ron stood rooted in disbelief as Tracy struggled to explain, her voice thick with sorrow. "I have to go," she pleaded softly. "I can't stay, Ron." Ron felt as though the ground had shifted beneath him, the weight of heartache settling heavily in his chest. He watched helplessly as Tracy walked away, her silhouette fading into the distance. The emptiness that followed was a bitter reminder of lost dreams and shattered promises. In the aftermath of Tressa's departure, Ron buried himself in the responsibility of leading the Golden Moon Pack, his heart guarded against further pain. When fate introduced him to Laurie, a spirited young woman whose presence brought both solace and confusion, Ron found himself grappling with conflicting emotions. Despite the undeniable bond they shared, Ron struggled to reconcile his lingering attachment to Tracy with the growing affection he felt for Laurie. He treated Laurie with a cool detachment, unable to fully embrace their connection out of fear that history would repeat itself. But amidst the tumult of his heart, there were fleeting moments when Ron's resolve faltered. He would catch himself drawn to Laura's laughter or the warmth in her eyes, his denial giving way to a growing awareness of her importance in his life. Just as Ron began to convince himself that he could bury the past, fate dealt him another unexpected blow. Tracy returned to Bellflower with her young daughter, Trisha, in tow, a sweet-natured child who bore a striking resemblance to her mother. Ron, torn between duty and unresolved feelings, welcomed Tracy and Trisha back into his life with a mixture of compassion and confusion. He shielded them from the scrutiny of the pack, weaving a delicate web of lies and half-truths to protect their fragile peace. And now, inside their quarters at the heart of the pack house, Alpha Ron and Laurie, his Luna, stood locked in a tense and volatile confrontation. The air was thick with the weight of unspoken grievances and the crackle of alpha dominance. "I won't let you leave, Laurie," Ron declared, his voice a harsh growl that reverberated off the walls. His eyes blazed with a dangerous mix of anger and possessiveness. "You belong here with me. The Golden Moon Pack is your home. Do you think Ashenwood won't shun you after knowing you are nothing but a wolfless woman?" However, Laurie met his intense gaze with steely defiance, her resolve unwavering despite the storm brewing around them. "I've made my decision, Ron," she retorted firmly, her voice tinged with frustration. "Ashenwood Town is where I need to be. It is better there than stay in misery in your pack." Ron's jaw clenched, his frustration boiling over into a tempest of alpha authority. "You think you can just walk away from me? You are nothing. You are wolfless, Laurie," he demanded, advancing towards her with purposeful strides. His alpha power surged around them, a tangible force that sought to bend her to his will. Laurie held her ground, her eyes flashing with defiance as she backed away slightly, her suitcase gripped tightly in her hand. "I'm not your possession, Alpha," she shot back, her voice laced with indignation. "I have the right to choose my own path." Ron's control slipped further, his alpha instincts pushing him beyond reason. With a sudden surge of raw power, he seized Laurie with his arm, his grip firm and commanding. "Listen to me," he commanded, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. "You're making a mistake. "You regret leaving me." Lori struggled against his grasp, fear and frustration mingling in her eyes as she tried to free herself. "Let go of me, Ron," she demanded, her voice rising with a mix of anger and desperation. "You can't force me to stay." But Ron's grip tightened, his alpha authority asserting itself with unwavering force. "You belong to me, Lori," he growled, his voice filled with possessive determination. "You don't get to decide this." In that charged moment, as the tension between them reached a breaking point, Ron's alpha power erupted in a violent surge that sent shockwaves through the pack house. The air crackled with energy, every member of the Golden Moon pack feeling the seismic shift in their alpha's authority.